Are you looking to move to the Finger Lakes but unsure of some of the reasons why you shouldn't move to the Finger Lakes? Well, in this video, we're talking about 3 reasons not to move to the Finger Lakes, and stick around to the end where we'll give you a 4th reason that drives all of the locals crazy. Ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anthony. This is my partner Avery, and we are American Home Team.
Yeah, guys, and we are licensed realtors here in the state of New York. So whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest, or build here in upstate New York, we would love to be the team of choice for you guys. So without further ado, let's talk about the 3 reasons why you shouldn't move to the Finger Lakes. So reason number 1, let's get into it.
Reason number 1 is going to be the weather. So here in New York State, specifically upstate New York, we have all 4 seasons. You've got summer, winter, fall, spring. The bad side of it though is that the winter time in particular can be pretty harsh. We do get a little bit of snow. So if you're not a snowbird, don't move here.
Yeah,
it makes travel tough, and
we get a lot
cold.
of icy conditions. With New York being such a weird state in terms of temperature fluctuation, we'll be in the 50s one day and the next day we'll be in the 20s, and so a lot of that snow will start to melt, and the next day it freezes back over, leaving a sheet of ice on the road. So if you're not familiar with how to drive in icy conditions or just snowy conditions, you're definitely going to want to learn. There are courses that you can take to go and practice your driving and whatnot. We've never taken them because we are locals. I know they exist, so we can figure that out and we can refer you to a class. But one thing that we always just tell people looking to move to the area is, like, get involved in winter activities, whether it's snowshoeing, whether it's snowboarding, skiing, cross-country skiing, snowmobiling.
And anything with motors in the winter is good.
There's so much to do here in the Finger Lakes with regard to the winter time. The spring and the summer months are gorgeous. You know, right now we're in the fall and today's 60. It is October 5th and it's 60 degrees. Or no, I'm sorry, 69 degrees.
Yeah, 70.
And it's gorgeous here. But the last week has been in the low 50s, high 40s. So the temperature fluctuates this time of year. We do get our first snow typically toward the end of October, sometimes into September. But typically toward the end of October, we get our first snowfall. And which means that we have a very short spring and a very short summer. We get a couple months of beautiful weather. There is a lot of overcast. So you'll hear locals talk about the winter depression, right? Where you know, it's gloomy, it's cloudy and gray. It is really difficult to kind of get out of that funk and want to leave the house, which is why we're telling you to go get involved in some of these winter activities.
Yep.
Moving forward, in number 2 is the travel. Some of our other videos, we talk about the expressways and the easy commute. Today we're actually talking about the difficulty, because in the rural areas there's a lot of Mennonite and Amish men that travel with horse and buggy, so it is typically slower. There's a longer route to get to some of the expressways, for example, like Penn Yan or Hammondsport, right? You kind of have to go out of your way and take some of these state routes to get to the expressway.
Yep. So going back to number 1 with the snowy conditions, a lot of these rural roads, they're hilly, they're windy, they're steep. Sometimes they don't get plowed. Sometimes the salt isn't gonna, you know, wear the snow down enough where you're not sliding.
Or it makes it worse.
Or it makes it worse. So you definitely want to make sure you have your snow tires on if you're driving a lot during the winter time. Specifically if you're coming from a rural area and you're going up to Rochester for work, or, you know, another city, and you're gonna be hitting the highways, traffic can be bad too, because maybe sometimes you get these out-of-staters who don't necessarily know how to drive in the conditions, and they cause accidents.
Yeah.
And it's always the other drivers that you got to look out for, right? And it's going to slow things down.
One of the things to consider as well, as far as relocation goes, is proximity to work. If you work in one of the cities in Rochester or Syracuse, or even, you know, 2 towns over, you're gonna wanna be cognizant of your commute, because you could be on one end of the lake and your work is on the opposite end, and it's gonna take you 45 minutes, depending on obviously what lake it is or what area you're in. So if you're relocating here for job purposes, that's one thing you're gonna wanna consider, is that commute time from one area to another.
And a lot of those roads too, it's not a 55 or 65 or 70 mile an hour road. Some of them along the lakes and stuff, it's going to be a 35 mile an hour road. Yeah. So of course it's going to take you a little bit longer, and then you add the factor of snowy conditions or an accident along the way, or road work or construction or something like that. It's going to take a little while.
Or a farmer.
Or a farmer, yeah. Or Mennonite, or, you know, horse and buggy type thing. So moving on to number 3, guys, the third reason not to move to the Finger Lakes is going to be your taxes. Now, the reason we say the taxes, because in the Finger Lakes, taxes aren't terrible compared to a lot of areas downstate, but compared to a lot of different states, we have property tax and we have school tax. Yeah. So taxes are going to be more expensive here in the Finger Lakes than it will be if you live in a state that doesn't have some of those other taxes.
Yeah, and so for example, I'm shooting these numbers off the cuff, right? But our average sales price here in the Finger Lakes is right around $269,000. If you go and you buy a house for the average sales price, you're probably looking at yearly taxes somewhere around $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, depending on the area. If you're in the village, you might be a little bit higher. In the city limits, might be a little bit higher versus the town and county, and then just the school tax. But there are certain areas that have special districts, right? Where you're paying fire district tax or something of that nature. But to compare that, a lot of you that are coming from North Carolina or South Carolina, Colorado even, we're hanging out with a friend out in Colorado. He's got a $3 million house out there, and he's paying, what'd he say, like $3 grand? And
I think $4,000.
Yeah, $4,000 in taxes on a $3 million property.
Yep. When
we have $200,000 houses here, and the taxes are $4,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider if you're looking at relocating here. Like, your monthly payment is predicated off of those taxes. You're paying those taxes out of your mortgage payment, and it is going to increase it substantially with a higher tax payment.
Yep.
So that's just something, you know, we don't like to beat people up too much about the taxes here, because they're better than a lot of areas in New York State. You know, if we were to move out to Monroe County, which is a little bit more city, I guess.
Urban, yeah.
Yeah, it's closer to the city. You're jumping up with some crazy taxes. You're getting a $150,000 house with $6,000 taxes. But you go out to Ontario County, Wayne County, Yates County, Seneca County, your taxes are a little bit lower in comparison to a lot of other states. They are substantially higher.
Yep.
And so that brings us to number 4, because a lot of people in this area, they would say that the taxes are relevant to the politics that we have here.
Yeah.
So reason number 4 of not to move to New York, or the Finger Lakes region of New York, is that generally speaking, all of our politics comes from New York City downstate.
Yep.
There's a lot of left-leaning politics down there. And when you come up to the Finger Lakes, there's a lot more right-leaning. Not to say that we're, you know, overbearing with politics. That's not what I'm saying at all. I want to be very clear about that. Everyone here is live and let live. It's a very kind and friendly, inclusive community. But a lot of the voters here, the locals, feel like their vote doesn't matter because of downstate. There's a lot more people downstate,
yep,
which is why you have the age-old topic of trying to get upstate to be a completely different state than New York City.
Yep. And I mean, politics, like Avery said, it's live and let live. mostly everybody abides by that or lives by that. But that being said, the closer you get to some of the major cities in the area, the more you're going to be pressed by some of those politics. So that's why the Finger Lakes is such actually a great area politically, because here is where everybody lives and lives. Yeah. It's, you know, everyone's going out, they're working hard and they're playing hard. Yeah. And they play hard with each other, right? They're not secluding anybody because of political affiliation. So
you made that sound really interesting.
What?
Everyone plays with each other, guys. So.
Well, that's not what I meant, but you get the gist though. He's got his mind in the gutter there, but so there you have it. 4 actual reasons not to move to the Finger Lakes. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell again so you're notified every time that we post a new video.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Every Tuesday and Thursday we will be dropping new videos on everything Finger Lakes living, working, playing, breathing, eating.
And if you have a question, everything. If you have any comments, if you want to know about anything in particular, shoot us a comment, shoot us a message, and we'd be more than happy to make that video, shoot it for you so that you don't have to come all the way up here just to learn about it.
Yep.
We do a lot of research. We live here. We've lived here for almost 30 years. And we love this area, so we're more than happy to discuss whatever it is you want to know.